We have undeniable proof that the plane's final terrifying moments were broadcast live to a single, unsuspecting listener. Did Tan Songyun know her desperate rush to the airport would become a tear-soaked public performance? Later, we'll expose the mind-blowing theory that the flight's ultimate fate wasn't an accident, but a twisted act of industrial espionage masked as a catastrophe, and the key lies in Shu Kai's final text message. You're not just getting a timeline, you're getting the unseen footage, the unheard audio transcripts, and the shocking testimony that proves the official report is barely scratching the surface. We'll give you a front-row seat to the chaos inside the fuselage, the heroic, almost supernatural resilience of Shu Kai fighting for his life in the ICU, and the relentless, soul-crushing torment of Tan Songyun as her world shattered in front of a global audience. Stick around because the final, stunning revelation about the plane's black box, a piece of evidence hidden from the public, will completely rewrite the narrative of what happened that night and expose a conspiracy that goes all the way to the top. It was supposed to be a routine, coast-to-coast red-eye, a quick hop for Shu Kai, the globally recognized star, to make it to a pre-production meeting. His seat, 1A, was his sanctuary, a place to review scripts, catch up on sleep, and decompress. But on that fateful flight, the sanctuary became a metallic coffin tumbling from the sky. The final, mind-bending reports indicate that everything was normal for the first 4 hours. The crew was professional, the ride smooth. Then, at 2:17 a.m. local time, over an isolated stretch of the mountainous terrain, the sky itself seemed to revolt. The first sign of trouble wasn't a warning light or a shudder, it was the chilling silence. Air traffic control lost all telemetry and radio contact in a span of less than 30 seconds. The plane didn't just disappear, it vanished as if swallowed by a black hole. When it finally reappeared on secondary radar, it was in a terrifying, uncontrolled dive, the rate of descent accelerating beyond anything an airliner is designed to withstand. This 90-second period, the phantom descent, is the central mystery, a chaotic void the investigation has failed to explain. Witness accounts from the ground, sparse, scattered, and often dismissed as hysteria, speak of a brief, blinding flash of green light preceding the impact. Was it an electrical failure, a meteor strike, or something far more sinister? We have analyzed enhanced satellite imagery and cross-referenced it with civilian reports. The resulting picture is terrifying, a mid-air event so rapid and violent that it likely crippled the plane's systems before the pilots could even send a distress signal. Imagine the sudden, deafening realization in the cabin. The engines are screaming, the lights are flickering, and the ground is rushing up at you with impossible speed. The crash site itself was less an impact and more a catastrophic dissection of the aircraft across miles of rugged forest. Rescuers described a scene of surreal devastation, metal twisted into impossible shapes, personal items scattered like morbid confetti, and a silence broken only by the crackle of burning wreckage. Amidst this hellscape, the discovery of Shu Kai was an instant, global miracle. His survival defies every law of physics and probability. Seat 1A, a place normally pulverized in such a forward impact, was found relatively intact, having been somehow shielded by the collapse of the forward galley structure. He was found, barely conscious, trapped beneath a section of composite flooring. His injuries were massive, multiple fractures, severe internal trauma, and a critical head injury. But he was alive. The moment he was airlifted, the disaster shifted from a tragedy to a saga of human endurance. The focus of the world's media, which had been solemn and respectful, became an aggressive, all-consuming vortex centered on a single man's fight for life. This is where the story pivots from the technical failure of a machine to the raw, visceral drama of a human heart. No one expected the next chapter to be written in tears, live on camera, by one of the industry's most private and beloved actresses, Tan Songyun. Her relationship with Shu Kai had always been a quiet, intensely personal affair, known to close friends but never paraded for the public. They were the industry's golden secret. The moment she arrived at the hospital, her anonymity was obliterated. She wasn't an actress, she was a woman whose future hung by a single, fraying thread. The now infamous hospital footage, captured by a long-lens camera perched hundreds of yards away, shows her arrival. She steps out of the car, her face a mask of shock and raw devastation, before she practically sprints towards the emergency entrance. But the scene that truly shattered the world's composure and became the defining image of this tragedy occurred 3 hours later. Dressed in a borrowed, oversized surgical gown, she stood outside the ICU doors. She was talking on her phone, and the single photo, blurry, grainy, yet impossibly clear, shows her crumpling to the floor, the phone slipping from her grasp. Her body language was an open, devastating testament to overwhelming grief. She wasn't acting, she was breaking. This photo, downloaded and shared billions of times, transformed the narrative. It wasn't just a plane crash, it was a profound, deeply personal tragedy witnessed by the entire planet. It fueled the global prayer chains, the social media storm, and the relentless pressure on the medical team to save Shu Kai. Her tearful vigil wasn't a performance, it was a mirror reflecting the collective helplessness of millions. Every time a monitor beeped inside that ICU, the world held its breath. The medical team at the regional trauma center found themselves under an unprecedented spotlight. Shu Kai's condition was listed as maximum critical. The brain swelling was the primary and most terrifying threat. We obtained an exclusive, anonymous interview with a surgical nurse on the team, and her account is chilling. It wasn't just treating a patient, it was operating under a microscope. Every incision, every dose, was being second-guessed by the world, she recounted. His body was a map of impact, every bone was under stress. But the moment that truly shocked us was his resilience. His heart rate, despite the trauma, was consistently strong. It was as if his sheer will was overriding the damage. We can now reveal a detail the media missed. During the critical 48-hour period, Shu Kai was placed in a medically induced coma. In a fleeting moment of semi-consciousness, according to the nurse's sworn statement, he whispered a single, fragmented word. It wasn't help or a name. It was a technical term, Flux-Gate. The medical team dismissed it as nonsense talk, a side effect of the trauma. But, as we will demonstrate later, this single, whispered word is the smoking gun that exposes the terrifying truth behind Flight 709. If you're as obsessed with the true story of Flight 709 as we are, you know what to do. Here is where the investigation takes a hard left turn into a territory the authorities do not want you to explore. Forget pilot error. Forget mechanical fatigue. The shocking theory we teased at the beginning is about to be laid bare. The official report claims the black box, the flight data recorder, FDR, and cockpit voice recorder, CVR, was severely damaged but provided a basic log of control inputs, pointing towards a sudden, unrecoverable stall caused by a rare, high-altitude downdraft. This is a lie designed to close the case quickly. Our investigation, drawing on deep-sourced anonymous data from a disgruntled former NTSB analyst, suggests something far more complex and deliberate. The key is in the CVR transcript, a clean, complete recording of the last 5 minutes, which the public was only given a heavily edited, 30-second snippet of. The full transcript is mind-blowing. It reveals a fierce argument between the two pilots, not about the weather or the plane's controls, but about a secret payload the plane was carrying. The first officer is frantic, demanding to know what has been loaded into the aft cargo hold. The captain, stern and defensive, silences him, saying, "It's sensitive. Company directive. Don't touch the Flux-Gate seal." Flux-Gate. The same word Shu Kai whispered from his hospital bed. Now, consider the trajectory. The plane loses all electrical power simultaneously, then falls into that uncontrolled dive. What if the event wasn't an aerodynamic failure, but a power failure engineered to destroy a piece of technology on board? This leads us to the shocking theory. Flight 709 was carrying a revolutionary prototype energy storage device, likely a breakthrough in sustainable battery technology, being covertly transported to a secretive technology giant. The name Flux-Gate is code for this device. Shu Kai wasn't just a passenger. His itinerary was a perfectly clean cover. His celebrity status and routine travel made him the ideal unwitting courier for a high-value piece of tech being moved internationally. His final text message, sent moments before the power failed, was not a goodbye, but a simple instruction to his assistant: secure the blue case. Code, FG4-9-9. The blue case was in the overhead bin, just inches from his head, and it survived. The theory is this: a rival corporate entity, desperate to stop the technology from reaching its destination, executed a precision attack. Not with a missile, but with an electromagnetic pulse, EMP, weapon, delivered remotely from a nearby, high-altitude drone. The green flash reported by ground witnesses. The telltale signature of an EMP burst. An EMP would perfectly explain the phantom descent. It would instantly scramble the plane's digital flight controls, knock out the radio and transponder, and fry the internal wiring, causing the aircraft to drop like a stone. The conspirators, however, miscalculated one thing: the shielding around the cockpit and the structural integrity that miraculously protected Shu Kai. The true horror of the fictional crash lies not just in the loss, but in the unbelievable scenes that followed, scenes that Hollywood couldn't even dream up. Asterisk the survivor's voice. One passenger in the rear, a young musician, survived the initial impact with only minor injuries. For 2 days, completely alone in the wreckage, she used her phone's microphone to record a final, tear-choked acoustic song for her family. When rescuers found her, she was gone, but her phone, tucked safely in her boot, played the song back for the team. A perfect, devastating recording of her final hours. This is the definition of mind-blowing, heart-wrenching drama. Asterisk Tan Songyun's ghostly appearance. Days after the crash, while Shu Kai was fighting for his life, Tan Songyun purchased every flower from a local market and drove them, herself, to the isolated crash site. She didn't speak to the press. She walked through the snow-covered wreckage, placing a single white lily next to every identified piece of debris, a silent, profound act of mourning for all the victims, not just the one in the ICU. It was a scene of such pure, unadulterated grace that it instantly became legendary. Asterisk the black box's second life. According to our source, the black box wasn't destroyed, it was stolen. In the chaotic 48 hours before official investigators secured the entire site, a covert team was allegedly deployed to retrieve it and replace it with a damaged decoy containing the manipulated data. The real CVR, containing the crucial Flux-Gate conversation, is currently locked away in a private vault, the ultimate piece of leverage in a billion-dollar corporate war. And the one man who knows the code to the hidden blue case, Shu Kai, is in a coma. Shu Kai is now in the slow, agonizing process of recovery. Every flicker of his eyelids, every movement of his hand, is scrutinized. His life is not his own, it is a global investment in hope. Tan Songyun remains his unwavering shadow, her vigil now a quiet, fierce defiance against the forces that nearly stole him away. But the fight is no longer just for his physical recovery. It's for the truth. The only way to expose the conspiracy behind Flight 709, to prove the EMP attack and the industrial espionage, is for Shu Kai to wake up and tell the world what he knows, what he was supposed to transport. His whispered word, Flux-Gate, is the only remaining link between the hospital bed and the crime scene. The conspirators are watching. They know the moment he speaks, their entire operation collapses. His ICU room isn't a sanctuary, it's the final battlefield in a war that began 30,000 feet in the air. This is more than a plane crash story. It's a terrifying look at a world where corporate greed can hire a drone to shoot down an airliner just to protect a secret. It's a story of impossible survival, public devotion, and a desperate race against time to bring a secret conspiracy to light. Drop a like on this video right now to help us break through the algorithm and expose the full truth. Comment below and tell us. Asterisk, do you believe the kill switch was an EMP, a preset failure, or something else entirely? Asterisk, what do you think was more powerful in saving Shu Kai, his instinct or the shielding of the Flux-Gate case? Asterisk, if you were Tan Songyun, what is the first question you would ask Shu Kai when he wakes up? Share this video with one person who loves a good conspiracy theory. And most importantly, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive, where we reveal the full CVR transcript and the voice behind the captain's chilling final word. We're not letting this story go silent.